Hello students, today we will discuss about anastomosis around scapula and shoulder. So what is this anastomosis? Anastomosis is the communication of arteries, veins before or after formation of capillary plexus. So before or after formation of capillary plexus, if there is a communication between the arteries and veins, it is called as anastomosis. So today's topic is about scapular anastomosis. Scapular anastomosis is a system connecting the subclavian artery and axillary artery. So this anastomosis allows the collateral circulation to flow past the shoulder joint in case of occlusion. So around the body of the scapula, we find this anastomosis between the first part of subclavian. So between the first part of subclavian and the third part of axillary artery. So let's see how it forms. The arteries contributing to this scapular anastomosis is suprascapular artery. So suprascapular artery, it runs above the suprascapular notch. This one is the suprascapular artery. Suprascapular artery, it is a branch of thyrocervical trunk, which is in turn a branch of subclavian artery. So suprascapular artery travels posterolaterally along the suprascapular nerve. So the suprascapular nerve will be inside the tunnel, that is the suprascapular notch, and above to this transverse suprascapular ligament we find this suprascapular artery. And as it travels along with the suprascapular nerve above the suprascapular notch, that is above the transverse scapular ligament, it gives off two branches. One branch courses along the supraspinous fossa. So this is the one branch which courses along the supraspinous fossa. The other one travels around the spine and to reach the infraspinous fossa. So this is the infraspinous fossa branch. The other arteries are the dorsal scapular artery. Dorsal scapular artery is also a branch of subclavian which travels along the medial border of the scapula. So this is the dorsal scapular artery. Which is also a branch of subclavian artery. So it runs along the medial border of the scapula. And circumflex scapular artery, circumflex means surrounding, it is like circling. So circumflex scapular artery is a branch of subscapular. Subscapular is in turn a branch of third part of axillary artery. It courses along the lateral border of the scapula. So along the lateral border, what you see here, the one which is winding round the scapula is the circumflex scapular artery, and this one is a branch of axillary, whereas other two are the branches of subclavian. So let's see how the anastomosis occurs. So anastomosis in the supraspinous fossa first, that is the suprascapular artery and dorsal scapular artery meet in the supraspinous fossa. So this is the dorsal scapular. Here is the terminal branch of dorsal scapular artery is here, and we can see the terminal branch of suprascapular is here. So they both anastomose in the supraspinous fossa. Let's see the anastomosis in the infraspinous fossa. Circumflex scapular artery. So this is the circumflex scapular artery which I have named here. So this is the circumflex scapular artery and the infraspinous branch. So this one is the infraspinous which I have marked as an arrow here. So the infraspinous branch of suprascapular artery, they anastomose to form a anastomosis in the infraspinous fossa. So this is about the scapular anastomosis. So that was about the scapular anastomosis. Next, we shall see the anastomosis around the glenohumeral joint, that is at the shoulder joint level. The first anastomosis over the acromion process. So around the acromion process, this anastomosis is between the first part of subclavian artery and second and third parts of axillary artery. So let's see how they anastomose. The acromial branch of thoracoacromial artery, that is, it is a branch of second part of axillary artery. So the acromial branch, and next is the acromial branch of suprascapular artery, which is a branch of first part of subclavian, and acromial branch of posterior circumflex. So this anastomosis around the acromion process is the acromial anastomosis. I'll repeat, acromial branch of thoracoacromial artery, which is a branch of second part of axillary. Then acromial branch of suprascapular artery, which is a branch of first part of subclavian. Then acromial branch of posterior circumflex humeral artery, which is a branch of third part of axillary artery. So all these three arteries anastomose around above the acromion process, forming the acromial anastomosis. Okay, let's see the anastomosis around the surgical neck of humerus. There are two circumflex humeral arteries, anterior and posterior circumflex humeral artery. So the posterior and anterior circumflex humeral arteries, they anastomose with each other around the surgical neck of the humerus, that is below the level of teres major muscle. So around the surgical neck of the humerus, where the axillary nerve is present, around the lower level of teres major, that is the lower border of teres major. This anastomosis is also contributed by recurrent branch of profunda brachii artery. So the third artery, which is here going up, which contributes in this anastomosis, is recurrent branch of profunda brachii artery. So the recurrent branch of profunda brachii artery, it is a branch of brachial artery and which meet the descending branch of posterior circumflex humeral artery. Further, they meet with the descending branch of posterior further it meets with the posterior circumflex humeral artery. So this completes the anastomosis around the surgical neck of the humerus. So these are the collateral circulations which are present around the scapula and around the glenohumeral joints. Thank you.